Okay, here's your homework that is due on Wednesday, September 30th. It's going to be dealing with first four problems will be adding and subtracting rational expressions. The last four will be multiplying. Don't have any dividing on here, although we probably will get to that in class tomorrow. That'll probably be on the next homework. So go ahead and write these down. And try them on your own. I'm going to go over a couple of them. With you. Okay, so write these down, try them. Okay, looking at number 1 or 2 actually, I'm going to go over 2, 4, and 6. So looking at number 2, remember you need a common denominator. These obviously are not common denominators. So you think to yourself, well, what can I do in this case? Remember I told you that you can always multiply the denominators together. That'll always give you a common denominator. It might not always be the least common, but it will be a common denominator. In this case, this is what you'd like to do. So my common denominator will be x times x plus 5 and x times x plus 5. Alright, so now what's the missing factor here? Well, we don't have an x plus 5, so I need to multiply the top and the bottom by x plus 5. So we'll do x plus 5 times x plus 5. Alright, so remember to do your distributing, so that'd be 7x plus 35. And on the bottom, we're just going to write our factors. We don't need to multiply it out, do that. That'll actually make it more difficult to see your factors. So just keep them like that. And the next on the other side, the right-hand side, looks like the factor we're missing is x, right? Because originally we started with x plus 5. Now we want to have a common denominator that has an x. So we need to multiply by x over x. Remember, that's a form of 1. So we're going to have 6x all over x times x plus 5. So now we have a common denominator. So now I'm going to write it all above one denominator. So 7x plus 35 plus 6x all over x times x plus 5. Alright, and that will give you 13x plus 35 all over x times x plus 5. Might look tempting, like there's something you can factor out, but really 13 and 35 have no common factors. They don't both have an x, so that is as simplified as you are going to get right there. So that is number 2. So let's go to number 4. I'm going to move this down. And go over this number 4. Alright, so now we have subtraction. Remember, whenever you do problems dealing with rational expressions or expressions and simplifying, factoring is always your friend. So I'm going to factor the bottom. So I'm going to have 2 over x minus 2. Remember, difference of two perfect squares. You could not do this if it were x squared plus 4. But since it's x squared minus 4, two perfect squares, and the difference, which means we can factor it into these two factors. Alright, so we have that minus, now the right side can factor on the bottom. We have x times x plus 2. Now, as I look here, we did a problem very similar in class. Each one of them has two factors. We have x minus 2, x plus 2, and over here we have x and x plus 2. So they both have an x plus 2. The left-hand side does not have an x as a factor by itself, and the right-hand side does not have an x minus 2 as a factor. So what I want to do is multiply the top and the bottom by the missing factor. So on the left, your missing factor is x. So we're going to have 2x all over x times x minus 2 times x plus 2. Over here, your missing factor is x minus 2. So I'm going to multiply everything by x minus 2 over x minus 2. And that's going to be minus 1. I'm sorry, not just minus 1. 1 times x minus 2. So now it would be x minus 2. And on the bottom, we have x times x plus 2 times x minus 2. Now we have our common denominator. Now I'm going to write it on one line. So I'm going to have 2x. Now be careful when you have the minus. When you minus this entire thing, it's going to be minus x minus a negative 2. So I like to write in parentheses just to show that. So I'm going to have 2x minus, get rid of this, 2x minus x minus 2 all over x times x plus 2 times x minus 2. All right, now this is going to be 2x minus, you got to distribute it. It's the same thing as multiplying the entire thing by negative 1. You distribute the negative, so the x becomes negative, the negative 2 becomes positive, and we have all of that over x times x plus 2 times x minus 2. So we have that. And then we subtract 2x and x, so we get x plus 2 all over x times x plus 2 and x minus 2. Move this out of the way. All right, now since we just have x plus 2 on the top, we can divide that out by this factor. And we're left with 1 over x times x minus 2. All right, so that is number 4. Moving on, number 6. This is multiplication now. So as we move into this, you're going to want to cancel, okay? And as we talked about in class, well, we haven't talked about it yet, but if you watch this on Tuesday, we will have talked about this in class. But you need to cancel. First of all, when you multiply fractions, so 1/3 times 2 over 5, you multiply the top and you multiply the bottom. So that would be 2 over 15. All right. What if you did 6 times 3 over, I don't know, 8. Yeah, that would work, 8. Okay, now you could do 12 over 48. You could do that, but now you have to reduce, so this would give you 1/4. You can cancel, only can cancel with the bottom with the top, top with bottom. You cannot cancel both on the top. So what am I talking about canceling? If I have a 3 here and a 6, so I have a 3, I have a 6, I can actually cancel those things. So I can look and say, okay, 3 goes into 6 once. I'm sorry, 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice. Now I can also cancel this 4. 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 8 twice. So that would be actually now 1 times 1 over 2 times 2, which still gives you 1 times 4, I'm sorry, 1 over 4. So you didn't have to simplify at the end. You also could have simplified, I simplified across. You could have simplified, the 4 over 6, and that would give you 2/3 times 3 over 8. And then you could also simplify across. This would be a 1, this would be a 4, and this would be a 3, and you still get 1/4. You just have to remember to cancel with the top and the bottom. You cannot cancel across the top or across the bottom. It has to be top with bottom. All right, so getting rid of all that. Let's try and do this now. So what can we do here? I'm going to pause the video just for a quick second here. Okay, let's go over this problem now. If you look at this, we should think about trying to cancel. So I would look at this 4y to the third. Remember, that 3 goes with the 4, 4 to the third, y to the third. Remember, if you go back, when you have a power raised to another power, you multiply the exponents. So it's 4 to the first times 3, so that's 4 to the third, y to the third. So what is 4 to the third? 4 times 4 is 64, y to the third. So now we have 64, y to the third, all over y minus 8. Times 8 minus y all over 64 y to the third. Now we can cancel. So this cancels out. These just give us 1. And we are left with 8 minus y all over y minus 8. Okay, if you look at that, you can't just cancel these, so that's the thing I don't want you to do. But there is something you can do, because they are very closely related. If I take this top and I factor out a -1, so if I factor out a -1, what would be left? Well, the signs on the inside would change, so it would be -8 plus y, and that would be over y minus 8. Now that I've done that, we can actually rewrite this. -8 plus y is the same as y plus 8. So now I keep my, don't forget your -1, that's still a factor you brought out, so it's a -1 times y plus 8. I'm sorry, y minus 8, that should be y minus 8 all over y minus 8. So now we can go ahead and cancel, and we're left with -1. There we go. That's our answer there. All right.